Alright, how's it going everybody? Welcome back now. Today it's moving day. Just as the turtle moves with its shell, so do I with a log splitter. Now this little guy was on my back patio here and it looked like it had some food stuck on its face, so I tried to pull it off. It was just a little piece of leaves or something. I thought it had a piece of wood stuck in its chin and I was going to help the little guy, but it was just some leaves or something. But here we go with the log splitter. Now this is the project we have going today, and I found myself in a situation here where I need to move my log splitter out of my backyard, and now it's too large to fit through the gate there behind me, and I was going to take a section of the fence out and pull it through the fence, but even then I can't push this thing up the hill in between the houses. It's just too damn heavy. Let me just tell you, this thing is 600 pounds. So the shipping weight was 575, and oh, my cat's going to be pushing the camera. So by the time you fill it up with 8 gallons of hydraulic oil and engine oil and 2 gallons of gas, you're pushing 600 pounds or more. But I'm getting off track here. So what I decided to do, as you can see in the video, is I'm going to take this thing apart into 2 pieces and remove the cylinder and the beam from the little trailer that it's on with the wheels and the trailer hitch and the engine. Now that's what I'm going to do here. So what I'm doing is I'm taping up and putting a little cover on the hoses. It's very simple to do. There's 2 hoses that go into the valve there, and I just wanted to tape the end of those hoses and also tape the valve. If you watch my log splitter assembly video, you may have noticed at one point when I was bringing this thing in through the gate that it kind of fell on the side. Well, one of the valves went right in the mud. I had to clean that valve off. Now, it didn't go inside, but you don't want to get mud inside your hydraulic valves. So anyways, I'm just taking a moment here after I detach those 2 lines to just kind of try to cover those up in case anything were to happen. If this thing were to fall over on the side and drag through the grass a little bit, I don't want to get anything inside my system. So that's what's going down right now, and it was very simple to detach those 2 hydraulic hoses. You can see what I did. I just used a wrench and put it on there, and you just unscrew them. I've done it several times. So let me reiterate, this thing is over 600 pounds, and I can almost guarantee you the cylinder and the beam is 3/4 of that weight. I mean, this thing might be pushing 400 or 500 pounds just for the cylinder. It is seriously heavy. Now, just to reiterate the fact, I called a friend of mine over and asked him if he would mind helping me, and he showed up, and he wasn't really wearing the proper clothes. I mean, he knew it was going to be a tough job, but he was out exercising and had just some really nice gym shoes on and stuff, and he bent over and picked that thing up and said, "No way, there's nowhere to grab it. No thank you, I can't do it, I'm not going to hurt myself." So I understand that. That's totally fine. It just goes to show you 2 people couldn't hardly move this, and you can see it just kind of fell over right there a little bit. This is actually the next day, and I came back out here and decided to do it myself, because I mean, I brought it in through the gate myself, so I should be able to go ahead and take it back out of the gate myself. I mean, if you can move it 8 or 10 feet, you can move it 30, but so this is what I'm having to do to get this thing out of my backyard. It's not easy, and I didn't really want to take my fence apart, even though that's not a big deal. If you saw my ash tree video, I had to take my fence apart already once to get that ash tree down. So but when I did this method this way, I didn't even have to move the fence. Now right here, it's stuck in the gate there. That little log tray is wedged in between the gate and a rock that I have on the ground, so it wouldn't move. So I had to try to free that up, and I mean, it was really stuck too. So that was phase one, and I put some plywood boards down on the ground to make it easier to slide. You can see it still has brackets on the bottom of the beam there. I didn't want to spend a ton of time doing this. I could have taken those brackets off and maybe slid it, but I think the brackets actually kind of helped because it kind of gives it a real thin point of contact and keeps it up off the ground a little bit. So it wasn't actually that bad with the brackets. The hard part's just finding a good way to grab this thing and manhandle it around. I just didn't want to take all day with this. So this was the method I used. I was going to try to hook it to the back of my riding lawnmower and maybe like put it on a dolly and then strap the dolly to the lawnmower hitch and just try to pull it up with a lawnmower. Now that would have only taken 10 seconds to do the actual work, but to drag the lawnmower out, and it's got a dead battery, and jump the battery and uncover it and pull it through the gate and then hook the log splitter to a dolly and then try to figure out how to use a piece of wire or something to hook the dolly to the lawnmower and then hopefully try to drag it up the hill and maybe get it and maybe not. That would have taken me half an hour just to hook it up to the lawnmower. So I didn't hook it up to the lawnmower there. I felt like it was too much. It was too much. I mean, you can see I'm showing this video in real time, and it actually only took me like 9 minutes to get this thing up the hill this way. Now it was heavy. You know, it was a bit of a struggle, and I think right here it kind of tips over on me. In a minute it kind of gets sideways, and when it goes, it's gonna go. You're not stopping it. I mean, I'm telling you. Like I said, this thing is probably about 400 pounds. It's unbelievably heavy. I mean, for real. Right there, it fell sideways, and that's why I taped up all my hoses and everything. And I was afraid that it was going to fall on the handle and bend my handle. I was like, oh no, if it hits that handle and breaks my handle off. But I think I got okay. I think it landed on the end of the beam more than the handle. I mean, everything's totally fine. So, but it is no joke. I mean, like I said, I don't know what the other part is. The trailer with the wheels and the engine on it, the second piece, it's not nearly as heavy as the beam. I mean, you can see where the gate is, and I didn't show this in the video, unfortunately, but I just stood that thing up on end vertical, and I drug it sideways, you know, against the way the tires would spin. I just stood it up on the end, and a little bit of hydraulic fluid came pouring out, but it is what it is, and I just drug that thing through the gate sideways with the tongue sticking up in the air. And that thing was no problem. I mean, it's like 80 or 100 pounds, and it's on wheels. So that second piece was no problem. I drug it through the gate sideways and just pulled it right up the hill. I mean, it's no big deal. But I don't even think two people would have had a hard time pushing it up the hill. And the problem is also that we've had a lot of thunderstorms, and even this morning the grass was still wet, and I didn't really want to get out here. You can hear my shoes squeaking around, and I wanted to get this done. It had to be done, so I said, well, I'm going to go out here and fight this thing and see if I can't do it. And it is wet, and it is muddy, and if you had two people trying to push this thing and somebody slipped and busted their face on that log splitter or something, I would feel bad. You don't really want to do that. So I just did it myself and drug it up here this way, and it really worked out all right. So if you need to move a log splitter around, and here we go too. This is really why I bought the Power Connects, that you had to assemble this thing, minor assembly. It's not like you have to do every nut and bolt, but I knew how to take this thing apart. I knew that it can come apart, it's possible, and it's not like it's a whole unit that you're stuck with, and it kind of dawned on me, well, take it apart. So you could probably do this same method with any of the similarly designed log splitters. I mean, whatever it is, whether it's a county line, or I think they call it a Speeco, or I mean, there's all kinds of brands at Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever. You got Champions, and you got you name it. There's all kinds of them. There's one that's painted in army paint colors. I don't know, but I'm not going to go through them all. But you can take the beam off of these things. Just undo the line, and this didn't even have a bolt. It's just a pin with a cotter pin on it that slides through, and you pull that pin out and undo the hoses, and you're free to go. So if you needed to get your log splitter through a gate or up a hill that you couldn't push or whatever in a tight spot somewhere, you can take these things apart. So you might learn something from this video. It is heavy, and two people would probably help, but it's hard to grab on that other end because you got that log table and there's no handles or anything. So it is still heavy, but you can see I was able to do it myself. Now I'm somewhat of a sprightly young gentleman. I mean, I'm not totally young, but I still am able to do this kind of stuff. Like my friend just said, he just said, nope, no thank you, I'm not going to hurt myself, and you need to find a four-wheeler or some tractor or something. I'm not going to do this. But you know, I was able to get it done. I prepared for war. I put on my long sleeve shirt and got some gloves on, and I knew it was going to be, I mean, like I said, when I brought it through the gate, I knew if I could move it 8 feet to drag it through the gate, I could move it 8 feet the other way. And if I can move it 8 feet, I could probably move it 30 or 40. So it's just one step at a time, and I put those boards down. I think it slides easier on those boards than dragging through the grass, and that way it doesn't totally tear the yard up and everything either. So this system worked out all right, and I have been just babbling away the whole time this is going on, which I guess is a good thing because you know, you just don't want to sit there and watch this in silence. But I about got her knocked here. I got to move it like 2 more times, and then I think I can handle it pulling it up through my front yard the rest of the way. So I'm going to move it 1 more time off the screen here, and then I just got to go get the second half, the trailer or whatever you want to call the tongue and trailer and wheels and motor. Go get the other part of it, and then just hitch it back up, and it's good to go. So I found myself in some situations here where I need to move my log splitter. I have some jobs, and the tree service has jobs where I need to move this thing and take it to the wood and split the wood out away from my house. And so I just had to move this. So here we are now. I took it over to my parents' house here. I had some wood I needed to split, and there it is, reassembled in all of its glory. And I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe learned something. If you need to move your log splitter, you can take it apart.